Hello everybody, happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. I'm so glad that you could join me here tonight. Did you see my little Zen gnome? Let me flip him back. He's like the cutest thing ever. My daughter, isn't he the cutest little thing ever? I love him. My daughter bought him for me not too long ago. I love gnomes. I think they're like the cutest little things ever. And it's a Zen gnome. It's doing the... So, it's a Zen gnome. He's my little mascot now, along with Superwoman, who my one son gave me. I don't know if you've ever noticed her up there before, but a little Lego Superwoman. They're my little mascots. Anyhow, side note, happy Friday night. Glad that you could join me here tonight. We had the weirdest thing going on outside today. It's like ridiculously cold here in central Minnesota, and like, I'm not joking, I think we had like 100 robins in our yard, like on the ground. They must be eating worms. Who knows that the worms were up, or I don't know. Anyhow, there were like tons of robins. It was the craziest thing. So I went out and sprinkled seed on the ground, hoping that they get some food. It was weird. Spring's gonna come. It's gonna come, I promise. But anyhow, tonight, and speaking of that, I'm doing a spring colored card because it's spring. So it's kind of like an Eastery color card. So hi Shirley. Anyhow, let's get to stamping and let's get to crafting. I'm going to be using dies from the Basic Borders dies set, and I'll show you that in just a second. I actually took this inspiration. I'm casing a card that's in the new catalog, which I got mine in the mail this week. Actually, I always send one to my daughter. So, hi Joyce. So I'm hoping that you guys all got your new catalogs and there's some fun stuff in there. Hi Beth. Hi LeVar. Some really cool stuff in there. The new in colors are to die for. But I'm casing a card out of that catalog, not using the same stamp set, but I really like the layout. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. And I figured out how to do it with the Basic Borders dies. So I'm going to flip the camera around here and I am going to show you what I got going on. Hold on one second. All right. Hey, there's my little gnome again. And there's right there, little Superwoman. I love her. My youngest must think I'm Superwoman. I'm not gonna let him I'm not gonna tell him any different. If he thinks I'm Superwoman, we're gonna let him believe it, man. That's how it goes. All right. I don't like that. Let's do that. Get that big black thing. It's still there. And over there's my mess. It's great, isn't it? Okay, so I can't show you the inside of the catalog, but I can show you the Basic Borders dies. They are in the current catalog. They will be carrying over into the new catalog. Little disclosure there. These are the dies. They're a lot of fun. So they're all double-sided. So if you look at the dies themselves, they've got in between, so the solid line is where it cuts. There's a stitching on each side. So there's stitching on the positive and the negative. So that's what we're going to be using tonight. Kind of featuring that little thing. I'm going to be using this curved one right here. The rest of them can just go hang out over there for a little while. I'm going to show you, they are on page 162. So right here of the current catalog. Like I said, they will be carrying over. And then the stamp set that we're using, I'm actually going to be using this bundle tonight with it. We're going to be making 2 cards, but they're going to be transposed. So you'll understand what I mean in just a little bit. But the Flowers of Friendship bundle. Currently, this is 10% off if you buy it as a bundle. That will not be carrying over. So if you want this and you want to save 10%, order it now before May 3rd, because then it won't be carrying over as a bundle, but each piece will be carrying over. So here's what I've got shaken here. I am going to be using, I've got 2 pieces of cardstock. This one is Petal Pink, this one is Fresh Freesia. Both are cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and then I've got 2 pieces of cardstock, very vanilla, that I will score in just a minute because I haven't yet. Let's do that right now. because I'm going to get more pieces, and you know how I do. You know how well I do with pieces. Let's score these right down the middle at 4 1/4. So just a basic card, right? And I don't know why they're not already scored. I must have overlooked that little detail. Usually I have them scored for us already. Okay. So let's set those aside. So here's what I've got. I've got my 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm going to grab my ruler and a pencil. Wow, that's got a lot of ink out, or pencil out. And I am going to, so this is 4 inches by 5 1/4, remember. So I am going to make a dot 3/4 of an inch in from this side. So 3 1/4 inch. And on this side, I'm going to do the same thing. So 3/4 inch up from the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. So 3/4 of an inch up off the bottom on this one. And then 3/4 in from the right side on this one. So 3 3/4. Okay. Now I'm going to take my die and I am going to line it up. So I'm lining the dot up on the inside of that and the inside of that right there. And I'm kind of eyeballing it to make sure that it's even. I'm going to take a Post-it note, and you can use washi tape or whatever to hold that down in place, because I want that to stay in place. Okay, and I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss machine, just like that. And I'm going to do that with both pieces. So I'm going to run that one through quick. Going to take that off, and this is why we're using Post-it note, right? So I've got this piece and this piece, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I've already measured on this Petal Pink piece, so I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to line those up right there, keep it knocked down, or keep it held down with my Post-it note, and I'm going to run that through my cut and emboss machine as well. All right, so bring that back in. Post-it note is trash now, or if you want to use it again, that's fine. All right, so now I've got my 2 pieces. I'm done with my die. So let's bring in our card bases. Fold and burnish these so they stay nice and flat. And actually what I'm going to do, I forgot one little piece. I'm going to bring in one more piece. And you could put these directly down on our cards, but I find that it's easier if we take and put it on a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 cardstock. If you want to conserve paper, that's perfectly okay. I'm not going to judge you. So what we're going to do is we are going to line these up on our card base like that and like that. Let's get rid of our little dots here. Well, that's easier said than done. Go away, little dot. Okay. All right, so that one's going to line up on that piece. This one is going to line up on this piece. And this is what that's going to be our card base. So let's put some adhesive down, and I use quite a bit of adhesive. If you'd like to use glue, you can. I like to use the seal for this one, especially because we're going to be stamping directly on there, and I would like to not have any bumps. So I don't want to use the glue necessarily, because I don't want to have the bumps that could come along with using the glue. Probably would be okay, as long as you don't leave really thick puddles of it, but I'm not taking any chances. So, and then we're just gonna fit that right in, just like that. Is that not the coolest looking thing? So here's what I'm talking about. I've got some adhesive on there. Here's what I'm talking about. You can see each of the stitched pieces on there, and I think that is just the neatest look. I love it. So let's go ahead and make our other card. Stick it down there like that, and then stick it on here, just like that. And that one got a little wonky on me. I'm going to take my trimmer out and trim that up. Just because I'm kind of that way. I like it to be perfect. So there we go. And since I got it out, let's just do that one too. All right, there. I'm happier now. All right, is that not the coolest looking thing in the world? I love it. I just love it. I think it's so neat. So I tested out a bunch of different stamps when I was using this, and I found that ones that are more line are better. If you have something that's too solid, like I tried a bunch of different kinds of flowers, if you have anything that's too solid, it tends to get kind of mucked up in this seam here. And I found that the nice just line stamps work really well. So I chose this image right here. So I am going to bring in, I've got 2 colors of ink. I'm going to stick right now with the Petal Pink. And I'm actually going to flip that one because I like the pink being on top. So I'm going to use this stamp right here. I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to right about in there and press down and right up. Is that not the coolest? Oh, so pretty. Just ink that right back up. And this one's this one's got more pink on it. So if you could change the dimensions too of where you put that, you just want to make sure that when you cut your pieces, you're cutting them the same, you're cutting the same pieces out, the same size, so that you can piece them back together, right? All right, and while I've got my pink open, I'm going to take a scrap of Petal Pink also, and I'm going to stamp it down on my scrap with this this is the bigger flower out of here, out of the stamp set. So just one of those will be sufficient because I'm going to cut it up and use it on both cards. So now I'm done with the pink, with the Petal Pink. So let's attach this down now onto my card base. I could have done that before. I just didn't. Kind of scatterbrained, I guess. And I'm just putting that on a piece of Very Vanilla because I think that looks just nice and pretty and romantic. I love those colors together. I feel like Petal Pink is like the most romantic color ever. I just love it. Love it, love it. I maybe should have trimmed this one up too, but I think it's okay. All right, so those are my 2. That's how I'm starting, right? So now I'm going to bring in the punch. Yes, I'm going to bring in the punch, and be mindful when you stamp that you're going to be able to put your paper in to punch it correctly. And what I mean is that it's not way down here or something like that. So punch it out. I got a few little extra pieces there. And of course, I'm a fan of Wink of Stella, so let's put some Stella on a couple of these. I'm only going to be using 2 petals, but I like the Wink of Stella. Just makes me happy. Adds a little something. So let's take our snips, and I'm going to actually cut. Let's see, I'm going to cut that in half. I've got my 2 petals that are Wink of Stella. Look at that, I made a word, Wink of Stella. Who knew? And I'm just trimming to kind of keep it even. And then I'm going to trim along this little line in the center, like the center of the flower. I'm just going to trim it so that it's petal piece. So that's that one. And I'm going to do the same on here, on this other petal. My house is ridiculously quiet tonight. There is nobody home, and that is weird. Everybody's gone. Okay, so what I'm going to do with those is I am going to take a small dimensional, and you can use either a small dimensional or you can use part of the edge, whichever you decide, whatever you've got on hand. You can make anything work, right? And I'm going to put it at the top of the petal, up there. And I've got a method to my madness, I promise you. And I'm going to set that right on like that. So I'm just giving my flower a little bit of dimension. Let's do our other one quick while we're in the groove. So right at the top, I'm going to take the backing off of it. And you could absolutely use a different color on here if you wanted to, but I like the monochromatic look of the two pinks and the one just being popped up. And then I'm going to take and put just a little tiny dot of glue at the bottom of the flower. And I'm talking like a teeny tiny little dot of glue. And I'm going to press that down and just hold it there for a second till it holds. It shouldn't take long. So just hold that down and do the same on this card. So just a teeny tiny little dot because we don't want it to squish out. And I'm a mom, so I do multitask, right? Us moms, we multitask like there's no tomorrow. I think it's actually maybe just a woman thing because I know a lot of women that aren't moms that can still multitask. Anyhow, all right, and so now I'm going to take the Elegant Faceted Gems, and I'm going to grab one of the white ones. You know what? I'm going to put pink on one, and I'm going to put white on another, just because I want to see what it looks like. Oh, I do like the pink. You know what? Well, we'll do white on one, just because I said that now, but I do like the pink on there. That's really pretty. I had done white earlier, so the white looks nice also. I like them both. Can you go wrong with sparkles? For real? Okay, now I have the Organdy striped ribbon, and this is in Petal Pink also. I'm just going to tie a knot. I'm not tying a bow. I'm all about simplicity. So let's tie us a little bow. And we'll use the fabric scissors to get a nice edge on it. And you know about the fabric scissors. Don't touch my, look at, I got them back. Don't touch Mama's fabric scissors. The Easter Bunny won't come then. I'm telling you. So I'm going to put that one there. One more. And this is kind of fun when you get to do two of like almost the same card. It just works out really well, and it's really quick. So let's see, my flag is up on that corner, so we'll put it down on this corner. That one got a little long. Let's trim it up. Okay, so now let's use a glue dot. Swear I had them out, I promise, because I was playing with them. They were almost empty. There they are. I found them. I'm almost done with this roll. I'm going to take a glue dot. I'm just going to put that at the bottom of the leaves. Just like that. Even it up a bit. I love this ribbon. I think it's so pretty. So pretty. And I love these colors. Didn't I say this is like springtime colors? They really are. I just like it a lot. All right, so that's that. So now we need a sentiment. And you could make this any kind of card that you wanted to. For real. This is like This is an anything card, but I thought I would make just a friendship card. So I am using the statement or the sentiment that says life is better with friends like you. So I've got a scrap of Very Vanilla. And since we're doing 2 of the same cards, I'm just gonna put one like that and I'll flip it over and do the other like that. And I am going to use the postage, the rectangular postage stamp punch. So I'm just going to center it in there, punch it out. Do the same thing on the other one. Just like that. All right, let's put some dimensionals on the back of those, and these cards will be done. Is that not, I just love it. I love that design. And if you can find the card in the new catalog that I'm casing, it does not look like this. But I liked this, the piece with the die, the basic border die. I thought that was just such a clever way of using that die. And I thought I'd give it a shot. And I like the way that it turned out. So going to put that right there. And of course I couldn't just make one, I had to make them both. Oh, put it the right direction. Just like that. Oh, is that not the neatest thing in the world? I love them. I love them, love them. I think that is like, and look at how, like, that adds just the perfect amount of detail in there. Just like, just ever so much, just a little bit. And I think it's so neat. So, all right, I'm going to flip the camera back around here. No such thing as too much bling, Little Fire. I agree. I agree. I love bling. So, let's flip us back here. All right. So I hope you guys liked that technique. I hope that it was kind of struck your creativity a little bit. So have a fantastic weekend. Have a great Easter. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. Sorry, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Thank you for tuning in to the Facebook Live. If you're watching the replay, I so appreciate you taking the time to watch the replay. Hope you have a great Easter, and I will see you back here next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.